The day the angry female CEO hired the new janitor, she had no idea that a small hand holding a faded backpack would unravel a secret buried deep inside her past. She did not know that the child waiting quietly outside her glass office already knew her face, her pain, and the moment that would soon break her hardened heart. What happened next would not only change her life, but expose a truth she never expected to face, and it all began with a mop bucket and a name she hadn't heard in years. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and hidden connections that change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Kind Vibes right now. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Marissa Vale was known across the city as one of the toughest CEOs in the corporate world. She built Vale Tech from nothing after losing everything in her 20s, and that loss carved sharp edges into her personality. Employees feared her temper, respected her discipline, and whispered about her icy stare that could silence an entire boardroom. Her days were filled with pressure, meetings, and a constant battle to prove she never needed anyone. What no one saw was the loneliness behind her penthouse windows or the quiet guilt she carried from a life she left behind. When the janitor position opened, Marissa barely glanced at the application. Elias Moreno was overqualified, older than most hires, and visibly exhausted when he walked into the building on his first day. He wore clean but worn clothes and carried himself with the careful posture of a man who had learned not to take up space. Marissa noticed him only because he moved too slowly for her liking. She snapped instructions without learning his story, unaware that he cleaned floors at night after working construction during the day just to keep food on the table. What Marissa didn't see that morning was Elias's daughter, Noor, sitting on a bench near the lobby with a book held close to her chest. Noor was 9 years old, observant, and far wiser than her years. She watched the tall woman with sharp heels pass by, her face pale and familiar. Noor's heart raced, not with fear, but recognition. She had seen that face before, years ago, in a small community shelter where kindness once wore a different name. As days passed, Elias worked silently, enduring Marissa's cold glances and harsh feedback. He needed the job too badly to complain. Every evening, Noor waited patiently until his shift ended, sometimes helping him organize supplies. One afternoon, Noor wandered too close to Marissa's office and froze. The memory hit her fully now. This wasn't just a familiar face. This was the woman who once sat beside her mother in a crowded shelter, offering soup and hope when no one else did. Marissa's world began to shift the day she noticed the child standing near her doorway. There was something unsettling about Noor's calm gaze. It wasn't fear, it wasn't curiosity, it was certainty. Marissa felt exposed in a way she couldn't explain. Later that night, she couldn't sleep. Memories flooded back of a younger version of herself, volunteering under a different surname, trying to heal from heartbreak by helping strangers survive theirs. Over the next week, Noor's presence seemed to soften the air around Marissa. The girl smiled at her without expectation, without judgment. It unnerved her. When Marissa finally asked Elias why his child waited so late every day, his answer was simple and heavy. He had no one else. His wife had passed years ago, and childcare was a luxury he couldn't afford. Marissa felt something crack inside her chest, a familiar ache she had buried under success. The truth came quietly. Noor left a folded drawing on Marissa's desk one evening. It showed two women holding hands in a shelter, one with kind eyes, the other crying. On the back was written a single sentence about remembering the lady who helped Mom believe again. Marissa sat frozen as tears blurred the page. She remembered that night. She remembered the woman who thanked her with shaking hands. She remembered promising herself she would never feel that helpless again. From that moment, everything changed. Marissa began staying late, not to work, but to listen. She learned Elias's story, his sacrifices, his quiet dignity. She saw Noor's brilliance, her compassion, her strength. Slowly, the anger that defined her began to loosen its grip. Marissa arranged flexible hours for Elias, educational support for Noor, and opportunities she once believed no one deserved without earning through pain. But the biggest change was internal. Marissa realized success had never healed her wounds, only hidden them. The child who recognized her past reminded her of who she once was, and who she could still become. The office that once echoed with fear now carried warmth, patience, and understanding. As this story nears its end, if it touched something inside you, please take a moment to like and share this video. Subscribe to Kind Vibes so more stories of humanity and hope can reach the world. Before we close, we would love to hear from you. Please comment below and tell us what this story made you feel, or share a moment when kindness changed your life.